Hey, everybody. This is Lauren deLisa Coleman back with you again for yet another episode of the Inside series that we have right here at film.io. And this may be, I think, our first virtual interview from Europe. Look out. This is live. And we've been really trying to get in sync with this for a little while. So I am really thrilled to be able to bring this filmmaking team to you, because this film just has so many accolades. And I'm really excited to be able to just hear more about the process, especially because of the weather conditions. So we are coming to you from Norway with the team behind the Kicksled Choir. And so I just want to introduce and welcome so much Julia Andersen, who is the producer on the film, and Torfinn Iversen, who's both the screenwriter and the director. So welcome both of you guys to film.io, and thank you so much for taking out this time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's just do our normal format, is that we ask one of you to give kind of a brief synopsis on the film for our viewers, and then we can kind of get into the process that brought us to what is the Kicksled Choir.
So the Kicksled Choir is a film about a 10-year-old boy. His name is Gabriel, and he has a big dream of joining the local choir, which is also called the Kicksled Choir. The Kicksled Choir, they do a lot of charity for the local refugees. They raise money and they collect clothes for them, warm winter clothes up in cold Norway. But one day, Gabriel's father gets into a fight with one of the refugees, and it gets really hard for him to join the choir.
So thank you so much, Julia. I loved looking at this because it was just so kind of rich and beautiful in the cinematography, and just the pacing was just so wonderful. Torfinn, I know as well that this film is kind of inspired by true events. And so I'm wondering if you could speak to us a little bit about that and how you kind of came to write this piece.
Both me and Julia were riding kicksheds as children, and also when we grew up, and also nowadays we could even do that. And then we were discussing ideas for a new short film, and we wanted both to have a choir on board and the kicksheds, and then we kind of came up with this idea to make a very long change of kicksheds. That's something unusual. Normally it's only one.
Seat. It's more like a seat.
Yeah, and it has been used for a long time, more than 100 years, this kind of thing. And not only in Norway, but also in Finland, and even some few places in Germany, I think they have been using this. So that was the idea, to have this kind of kicksheds and put them together as a long chain.
Well, how did you guys get together? I mean, obviously, if just kind of deferring to her now almost, and it seems like you have been working together for quite a while. Could you, either one of you, maybe share with our viewers kind of how you came to actually work together? Because I know you've known each other for a while, but the actual let's do something together, how did that kind of come about?
Yeah, well, I worked on Torfinn's feature film as a production coordinator about 5 years ago. And we're friends from before because we were both from Northern Norway, and the film industry is not that big here. So most people know each other. And the year after we shot his feature film, Oscars America, I was producing a short film called Walpole. And then the director that was supposed to direct it fell sick. So I called Torfinn and said, wow, we're shooting in 5 weeks. Are you available? Because he had already read the script and given me feedback as a friend. And he said yes. And then we made Bogho 5 weeks later, and it was a huge hit. It went to film festivals all over the world, Asia, US, Australia, Europe, Palm Springs, Chicago. Yeah, big festivals. And it was also nominated for the Amanda Award, which is the equivalent to the Academy Awards in Norway, Best Short Film. So that was a huge success. And then we decided, maybe we should try this again. And then we made the Kicksled Choir.
And I think it's just kind of magic between the two of you, because, of course, you mentioned all those accolades, but as well, this film is also, well, you tell our audience, it's 93rd Academy Award. Well, I want to say it was a nominee or actually winner. Sorry, I bet it's Best Short Live, correct?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you guys have to continue working together because it's like a winning combination, right? But talk to me about like the conditions though, because, okay, you're from Norway and it's not a big deal, snow, but, just looking at this, I mean, okay, in New York, we get some snow, but not like this. And we're certainly, I mean, a lot of this, a good portion of it is shot outside. In terms of challenges, maybe around that and equipment and more, how did you maybe solve for that? Or is that just something that like kind of coming up in Norway in the film industry, you're kind of accustomed to that, and you're already talking about that and sharing about those tools and those strategies early on?
Yeah, well, you definitely have to plan when you're filming outside wintertime in Norway, for sure. So we had a plan, a good plan. But then 2 days before the first shooting day, it started to snow like crazy. It was snowing. All the cars were covered. You couldn't, we were snowed in, basically. So for the first shooting day, it was really hard for the choir on the Kicksled, to get speed. They were almost stuck in the snow. And then it got warmer overnight and it started raining a bit.
Oh no.
So next day, it was not looking as the way it was supposed to look, the film look we wanted. And then on the third night, it froze. So
you had like all kinds of conditions there to like overcome, correct?
So this was April. We shot in April. So yes, you do have winter, but it's a bit unstable winter when you shoot in April in Northern Norway still. So, but on the third day, when we woke up and it had frozen, when the choir went on the kick sled, they had such a high speed. So when shooting, some of them fell off.
No.
It was crazy fast, but a lot of challenging, because of the weather. But
and what about just the equipment as well itself? I mean, Torfinn as a director, is that something that you have to be sensitive to, and also ensure that your crew is obviously protected physically and more?
Well, we shot on Aria Alexa Mini with cookie optics, and so all the technical part, that was really fine. No big trouble with the camera or anything. So and most of the team were used to work in these conditions, I think. So also when like 10-12 years ago, I was working as a video assist on a feature film up there, 24 shooting days on a Finnish film with Jarmali Helander. And that was really tough because it was a long time. This film, the Kicksled Choir, we had 6 shooting days, which was okay also. And it was a very nice team to work with, and they're patient, and so and a brilliant cast. I think the boy Gabriel, his real name is Benoni, was amazing, fantastic to work with. So, but it's very important to keep them warm all the time, and that there are some warm place to go in, and I mean also Khaled, who was thrown in the river in this film. He actually did that for real, and we had to send him immediately into a warm car and into a sauna so he could heat up.
Right.
But he was really brave also. So the good thing was that everything was 10 minutes away from where the location, all the locations were cool. A radius of 10 minutes drive, which was it's old military camp that this turned into a film studio. Film camp is the place where we shot this film.
That sounds like it's kind of a cool space. I mean, It was a lot of kind of a challenge around this, but I guess, I mean, did you like ever foresee an Academy Award coming out of this while you were like, freezing and on set? I mean, what was that kind of like to be able to even learn that you were nominated?
Yeah, we were on the shortlist, and we got a big shock from this. And the reason we had won the main award in the Chicago Film Festival, the jury prize, I think, and then we got the chance to apply for the Oscars. It was then 174 films who could apply for the Oscars, who had either been screened in LA for a certain amount of days, normally in the cinema, or won some major film festivals. So, and then it was selected down to 10 films, and that was incredible, I think.
So yes, you guys definitely have to keep working together. Who knows, what's going to happen next. But I guess out of all of this, what's maybe, because obviously this is not either of your first time, doing this, but I would think every time that you're shooting, creating a project, you're going to learn something. And so with this particular film, what would you say that was kind of the biggest, like kind of either game changer for you that you were going to take away and, be able to apply to your next film, or, just something that like either surprised you that you overcame and you were like, okay, like I didn't even know I could do that, but I did it. And, I have that in my back pocket for now. Yeah.
If I can answer first, I think I learned that it's even more and more, it's so important to have this main idea, this main core, it's one kind of image from the beginning when you write the script that is representing the film. If you have that, it's easier to kind of, especially for a short film, see what this film is really about. I was editing this film myself, and also with Julia was on board. And the good thing then was that we could do a lot of versions after. It was normally you have like 2-3 weeks to edit, but we could spend almost a whole year to edit this film, which was really, really nice. And that is something I learned, that I think it's good to spend some more time in the, if you have the chance, in the editing process. Okay. So I would advise producers sometimes to put in some extra time for editing, because that can really change so much.
That I think sounds like a really good point. Julia, what about you?
Oh, I learned a lot. I learned that it's not easy to get a whole choir at the same time for 5 shooting days. So actually, the choir you see in the film, they're from 3 different ones, and miraculously they were able to sing together. So that's just a fun fact. But yeah, I have to agree with Torfinn. We spent, I think, 6 months in the editing room. And it was worth it. And he did an amazing job editing himself. And from seeing, all these different versions from 24 minutes down to 22, 20, and then 18 minutes, how clean it ended up to be. I'm so happy, and it was the best spent money.
That's interesting. I don't think that anybody has said that just yet on the series, and I think it's really invaluable for people listening, is to maybe add in even a little bit of extra time for editing if you can. Is there any like kind of drawback though to that? Like, do you know how when you're tinkering with something and you just keep going, how do you know when to actually stop? Is it just kind of instinct where you're like, what, I either can't do anymore, or this is really my crown jewel? How do you know?
We had several test screenings, which was very good, with children. And we got very important feedback, what they understood, what they don't understood. That was kind of the most important part early in the process. Then it was good to put it away for 3-4 weeks and not look at it, and then see it with fresh eyes. That's really a luxury to do that as a director for a short film, because normally you have to edit everything in 3 weeks and then it's done. So that was also a very nice thing. Of course, we have deadlines, and this for this project, we decided to spend time for the editing, really try out different versions, see what kind of potential there is in the material. Of course, you can sit there in the end and do all the match cuts and see does this really work or not. And of course, you see it sometimes on your small screen, and then you see it in the cinema. Also in the editing, you do a test screening in the cinema, and then it looks completely different. It's all where is the best place to sit, from which distance is the best place to sit and edit. Is it like half a meter from the screen, or is it 1 meter? All these kind of things affects the experience you have when you watch the film, I think. Also, when I sit in the back of the cinema or in the front, I perceive the film in a different way somehow. All kind of films, but most important, the story. Is it clear? Do you understand it? Does it work? Is it touching you? If it's not touching me, no, then it's we have trouble, really.
Amazing. Julia, would you like to add anything to that?
I agree with everything Torfinn said about the editing part. Absolutely. Yeah. And as you said, we did test screenings with children, which was really important. We also did test screenings for filmmakers, friends of ours, colleagues, but also for people that don't work in the film industry, because they also had feedback to give us important feedback. So that was, I'm very happy we did all those different test screenings. Yeah, it helped us a lot.
So much work, that you put into it. It's really like crafting, like, I picture like, Rodin working on like the Gates of Hell, just keep going back and like refining it and reshaping it. And you have to really love it, to be able to do that. And I think the results, speak for themselves. So what's next then for you guys?
What's next, Torfinn?
We have a lot of different things coming up now. So
short, feature length, the combination?
Yeah, feature projects.
Got it. Well, we will definitely continue to look out for those. I can't thank you both enough for sharing that experience about the Kicksled Choir with us. And I'm just glad that we were able to reconnect, since it was crazy during Tribeca and all that we can, kind of reassemble now. So yes, thank you so much. And everybody, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode with these great filmmakers about the Kicksled Choir. And of course, that we continue to bring these wonderful interviews nowhere else but right here on film.io. Thank you so much for joining us. I am deLisa Coleman.